So earlier, I was talking about how NOLOH allows you to easily integrate your existing HTML, while all those applications that I showed you earlier don't have any HTML in them, right? But say you have existing HTML and you want to use it, NOLOH actually offers what we believe to be unparalleled separation of your HTML and your application logic. So you know how in a Logic and many MVC frameworks, they'll supposedly be separated, but you still have a lot of echoes and PHP in your markup. And essentially that prevents your markup from being passed around to designers, and it's um it's really not a clean separation. So if we go to other here, you'll see we just have pre-set up empty applications. There's no reason for me to constantly create empty applications for you. I showed that earlier. And you'll see, actually want to do here, sorry, empty application for get quote. You'll see that if we open up this content folder, we'll have just some HTML that was generated. Note that I removed the HTML, the head, and the body tags, but you could have easily left them in, and that would have been fine. But I like to take that out. So you see here we have normal HTML. There's no NOLOH here, and in my index here, I'm just going to add something that we call a markup region. A markup region is used to display markup in your application, HTML in your application. So you saw we had just had content and this get quote.htm, right? And also note that there was a CSS file here, common.css, and we're just going to add that too. So like I said earlier, you can actually add CSS files to NOLOH, so I can just do CSS files, add content common.css. I'll save that. I added this new markup region, content get quote, and what we'll do is I need to just give it a location and a width and height. So by default, I think it's 100, but a null, that's just saying to show everything, right? And what we can do is, so that's added, so we can now show this. So demo host other SW, I'm sorry, Confoo. I sometimes forget what I'm doing. And you see that we now have, this is just an HTML. NOLOH is actually showing HTML, but note how it doesn't do anything, right? So also note that if I view the page source, how it's still NOLOH, there's no HTML here. All NOLOH applications will always look like this in the view source. But note how it doesn't do anything. Do you remember earlier I said that you can easily interact between your HTML and NOLOH? So say you wanted to make this click, would all of us, you would not now have to go to your HTML and do on clicks, or go to your JavaScript and do anything. So what we're gonna do now is we want to create something called a rich markup region. A rich markup region works just like a markup region. You'll see here if I refresh it shows. It shows. So it still doesn't do anything. And I can go into the get quote here, and what I can do is add the end namespace. You don't need to if you have more identifying information like ID or whatnot, but the most basic way is just add the end excuse me, namespace. So, and I set a descriptor, which is essentially a keyword value pair. So this is going to be foo glossy ball, and this is going to be blah get quote. So keyword blah value get quote, keyword foo glossy ball. And note that I have to add the n, so just NA descriptor. And I'm gonna save and I'm gonna refresh, and nothing happened. That's great. So nothing happened. So I didn't dictate anything. This doesn't dictate anything. So all this does is it suggests to you, the developer, that there's that there are objects that you can do something with. Right? So there's something called, with the rich markup region, something called eventes, which is anything that you gave the n colon namespace is now an eventee. So I can do for each content event for each content eventees as eventee, I'm just gonna say when I click on the eventee, new server event again, we're just gonna do system. You remember how I did it before with system : alert, but again it's just static. So I do system alert eventee : value. Right? So eventee click equals new server event. Now let me refresh and notice the hand. I can now click on these objects. See, so click, and get quote. So very, very powerful stuff here. Note there is no programming logic in the HTML. There's no dictation there. And watch how I can say, okay, only if something. So only if eventee arrow keyword equals, say, foo equals, double equals, I'm sorry, eventee click will alert. So only if the keyword was foo, sorry, I did something wrong. I'm sorry, I forgot to close bracket. So only if eventee is foo, that's this one, but not this one. See, so now this click doesn't do anything, right? And I can do else if eventee is something else, but here I'll just do else. Eventee arrow click equals new server event, and what we're going to do is we're going to do this control. So notice how it doesn't always need to be this, it's any object. This controls add a new window panel with the eventee arrow value. Okay, so that's just a NOLOH control window panel. So I'm going to refresh, and when I click on this, notice it's still alert. When I click on get quote, I have a window now with get quote. So notice very quickly how you can interact between your HTML, your existing HTML, and your application. Note how powerful this is. So your markup, if we look at here, it doesn't contain any program logic. This is still markup. There is no PHP in here, but here is where you decided. This is very important. You decided what happens and if anything happens. So you can have nothing happen. So for example, say some user comes to your site and you have stock symbols for particular users when they could have that text actionable and have links, and some other, I'd rather be able to click on them and have them do something, and have other users not have anything. And furthermore, you could actually make on a per user basis that that object, that eventee, that HTML element do something different. So it's very, very, very powerful stuff. Okay, so you can also actually inject objects into your markup via something that we call larva, but unfortunately we don't have the time to cover that right now. You can go to the website and read more about that.